It is strange that probably the biggest badass of the war is not that famous and rarely talked about. This man was so extraordinary that some would say it is too much even for a movie. John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill, later known as Mad Jack, was born in 1906 in Surrey, England. From an early age, Jack was a bit different. He had a fascination with adventure, old military traditions, and above all, bagpipes. His love for these instruments, along with archery and swordsmanship, would set him apart in ways that no one could have imagined. Mad Jack Churchill was a paradox in every sense of the word. In peacetime, he often refused to follow traditional military training routines. He was known to carry an umbrella in formation, use a hot water bottle to stay warm, and avoid physical challenges during training. But when it came down to the actual war, he was the first one in line. While many soldiers usually try to avoid front lines of the battle, Mad Jack Churchill was totally opposite. In the end of the war, when he received news of Japan's surrender, he was reportedly disappointed, saying, "If it wasn't for those damn Yanks, we could have kept the war going another 10 years. Assigned to the British Expeditionary Force, Jack didn't just bring a rifle to the battlefield like every other officer. He brought a Scottish broadsword, and he wasn't carrying it for show. Jack led his men into battle with his sword raised high, believing that the sight of it would inspire and terrorize the enemy. It worked. During one engagement in France, Jack Churchill made history by being the last recorded soldier to kill an enemy with a longbow in combat. But the story of Mad Jack gets even stranger. During the Norwegian campaign in 1941, Jack's antics reached legendary status. Leading his men through icy mountains and enemy strongholds, Jack carried not just his sword and bow, but also bagpipes. Yes, in the midst of heavy fighting, Jack Churchill would stand tall, playing traditional Scottish tunes on his bagpipes. At one point, he even stormed a German position while playing the pipes, stopping only to throw a grenade before charging in with his sword. One of his most famous moments came during the Battle of Vik in Norway. Jack led his troops into battle while playing the bagpipes. When his unit overran the German position, Jack captured 42 soldiers using nothing but his sword. His courage, or perhaps his madness, made him a legend among his men. Jack's most daring mission came during the invasion of Yugoslavia. As part of a British commando unit, Mad Jack was sent behind enemy lines to assist local resistance fighters. Leading a daring raid on a German position, Jack's forces were heavily outnumbered. A mortar shell exploded, killing his men and knocking him unconscious. When Jack awoke, he found himself captured by German forces. But even in captivity, his spirit couldn't be broken. While imprisoned at concentration camp, sneaking under the wire and walking 100 miles toward freedom, unfortunately, he was recaptured shortly after, walking for days until he reached American forces. Mad Jack Churchill lived by one simple motto: any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed. Even in the age of modern warfare, Jack remained a warrior from a different era, fearless, eccentric, and absolutely unforgettable, and someone who brought medieval combat into the 20th century. If you enjoyed this incredible story about Mad Jack Churchill, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more unbelievable stories from history.